Hi, Omega Chaos here with a September 2018 Banlist discussion. So now the new Banlist is finally out. I couldn't really do a live reaction because I was sleeping when this Banlist came out. Quite a few interesting changes. So I guess let's go over the Banlist and discuss the changes. So first card is Samsara Lotus. Extremely weird hit because I think I never heard about this card. I guess it's used in some very inconsistent FTK and whatnot. So I guess that's fine, but definitely a very weird hit for sure. Then another card that is now banned is Nightmare Goblin. Very deserved hit, especially used in that Koki extra link deck essentially. Many thought that Firewall would be banned, Firewall Dragon, but that's essentially impossible because essentially it's one of the main ace cards of the main protagonist from Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns. So if they would ban Firewall Dragon, it would hurt their marketing, and obviously with the rain stop coming out soon as well. So this was probably the second best uh, alternative. So yeah, definitely a really good hit for sure. Then also MX Saber Invoker, also to probably to hit the Goki deck. Uh, this card actually has been abused in quite a few decks before as well, like for example Zodiac. So I think that's a really good hit as well, actually. Then I think there is no other cards banned. So moving on. Then limited cards. A Assault Core. I think that's mainly to hit that another one of those FTKs with a Cannon Soldier and whatnot. And Firewall Dragon actually as well. So I guess that was to hit that. Although I'm not sure if that was actually a good idea. You could have just hit the Cannon Soldier cards. But now ABC is now hit as well because of that. So I'm not sure if ABC deck is even workable right now. So that's pretty unfortunate for those players for sure. Then Elemental Hero Stratos is finally back, so people can stop begging for this card to come back. So I think it's pretty much fine. This card was quite abused back then in those Powerman OTKs, but those kind of strategies are not that viable anymore. So yeah, definitely a decent card and definitely a good support for all hero-based strategies. Then Morphing Char. I have no idea why they brought this card back. I guess it to promote the danger archetype. Card destruction also was brought back as well. So pretty much a very crazy card, and actually was a centerpiece of an FTK back then, the empty jar FTK. Not sure if it's viable anymore, but still an extremely dangerous card for sure. A slow card, but in the right hands, an extremely deadly one, so not sure about this. Then Heavy Metal Force Electromite is now also limited. I kind of was feeling that this card was going to be limited or something was going to happen to it. That's why I didn't buy those Electromites from the Mega Tins. So I was pretty much right in my feelings, so now it's at 1. Because obviously those Pelum based decks were still pretty viable in the meta game, so I guess they thought they were still too strong. So yeah, I'm pretty much fine with it. I always thought that Electromite was the main problem in those decks, so yeah. So now I'm definitely considering to rebuild my Pendulum Magician Shark deck, so yeah, very nice. Then also some Extra Knight is now back as well. I think it should have come back like a year ago when the reprint was released, but it's a fine card now. It makes going second a bit easier, and rank 4 base decks are not really that great anymore as well. So I think that's pretty much fine. For now at least. We'll see what happens, I guess. Then a hero leaves. I guess to bring back Stratos they had to hit something else. So yeah, I guess that it's fine, but I'm not sure if the sacrifice is really worth it for Stratos. Then card destruction. This bring this card back is even a lot worse than bring back Morphing Char, because this card is extremely abusable in several decks. Of course, back then it used to be abused in Dark Worlds, but of course now it can be abused in Danger as well as Burning Abyss and decks like that. So I'm definitely not happy about this, but we'll see what happens, I guess. Then Sky Striker Mecha Hornet rounds. I guess the obligatory Sky Striker hit, definitely very needed. So now the Sky Striker engine is not going to be used much anymore, but will be Sky Strikers are going to be mostly used as a pure deck, and it's probably going to be one of the best decks more than likely. But I think the Sky Strikers definitely need to be hit further. So yeah, we'll see. Then Super Formation, other card I didn't want to be brought back. It's especially now it's even more abusable, and the fact that you can't respond to it is pretty crazy. So essentially, if you have like a Clock Wyver and your opponent has a bunch of Link monsters, you can just use this card and get rid of all of the opponent's Link monsters and summon your uh, Cyber's Clock Dragon and OTK your opponent essentially. So this is definitely a very crazy card, and I hope it gets banned again, because obviously we now have also the Starring Venom Fusion Dragon, as well as the other generic fusion monster that got released in the Megatin. So definitely an extremely dangerous card for sure. Then semi-limited Cosmo Dark Destroyer. I think it's fine. Cosmos are not really doing that well anymore because it's definitely a slower deck, and now the game is just has become way too fast for this particular deck. Then Cold Blood Grave, a pretty weird hit, because obviously Cold Blood Grave is used against hand traps, but I guess they think that hand traps are very good because obviously have all those crazy combo decks running around. So I guess it's fine, but I'm not really completely sure about this. The limiter removal is Nova 2. At first I wasn't really sure if it was a good idea, but at the same time it's a really crazy auto-K tool, but ultimately it's not as good as it used to be. So yeah, then Scapegoat, obviously because it's a really good generic card to make Link monsters, so definitely a pretty warranted hit and might be limited in the future as well. Then Terraforming, don't really like this being semi-limited, because it's a very good generic support card for several, not only several, but many decks. So this going to seems like they want to hit those fiat spell support cards, which I guess it's fine, but I'm not really sure about this yet. Then unlimited cards, Apocryph for Towers. Obviously now that Link monsters are out, this card can be outed by pretty much almost any Link monster that removes monsters. So bring this back to 3 is completely fine. Then Test and Hero Disc Commander. It just got an errata recently, so it's pretty much fine because now it's a very balanced card. Then Burial from a different dimension. I guess now it's fine as well. Back then it used to be really broken in like zombie-based decks, but now the game is very much like early game based. Like you have to be doing everything in the first turn, or you're not going to be winning much. And then Ring of Destruction as well. I think it's now essentially a balance card, and no one really uses it much. But I guess bring this back to 3 is completely fine for the game. So this was the new Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG ban list for September 2018. Overall, I think this ban list is pretty decent, but ultimately it's not going to really fix the main problems of the game. I think Goki is still uh, pretty good, not as crazy as it used to be, but still a very viable strategy. Obviously, the Sky Strikers are going to be one of the main decks in the meta game, as well as Aldegeist and Trickstars. Trickstars also didn't get any hits on this ban list, which is pretty unfortunate. So that's going to be one of the most annoying decks. So yeah, um, uh, what are my plans for the future with this ban list? Not really sure. I'm definitely going to play more online, but I'm not sure about real life because right now I can't really go to any events right now. There are not really any official tournaments in Estonia right now, and right now I don't really have any funds to go to events in other countries. But next year we'll see. But by then the new ban list uh, will be out as well. So we'll see what happens. I will definitely be experimenting with a lot of my decks. So I expect a lot more content soon regarding that. So I hope you enjoyed my ban list discussion. For now, goodbye and Omega Chaos. Oh,